This one still looks a little bit long, but I guess we'll see what's going on with it. So, this is a game that I had to really study in optimal order to go through things without making collection take too long. And I think I did a pretty good job. I mirror the order that I do everything in both versions of these videos, so if you're watching one order in one for whatever reason, or I guess in this one because this is the one I'm talking to you in about this, then you're seeing the order for both of them. It's just a matter of kind of speed and all that kind of stuff. So, or whether or not you want to get yelled at the whole time.
So, these boss intros just seem to show them chillaxing. Shouldn't they be trying to establish them as a threat or something? Because one's an artist, the other one's just hanging out in a sewer.
So those two you can kind of argue that Seahorse is trying to infiltrate something since he does the whole melting, reforming thing.
And then also, he just dramatically poses.
Yeah. Also, there are some, size scale questions that I have in that instance, where it's here's the foot full size, and then it goes down, and then all the contents of the foot turn into the whole body. It's did he just get, way smaller? Or, what the fuck happened there? But then, alright, so you say that for those ones, and I can kind of see what you're saying.
This water sewage is really neat, when you see the...
Parallaxing and everything?
Not the parallax... the
splashing?
Yeah, when they, two different streams converge, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's really cool. There are other intros that are yeah, we probably shouldn't let these guys fucking do stuff. Which, your favorite one is that, which, we won't mention just yet. But,
was there an upper path up there?
It's not an upper path. I always go that way by accident when I'm going through here. That's where the right armor spawn point is at.
Oh.
Which, again, well, actually, we'll see it, because I use it when I'm going through collection stuff in this game. But, like I said, the right armor system is something I'll cover when it's a little bit more topical with what's going on. There's actually a lot of cool stuff going on up there, too, that I don't show off at any point. You need to use the right armor to cut off current if you want to take the top path instead of dealing with all the treacherous spikes and stuff down there. And there's two huge propellers that are pushing you so that you can't go that way. Oh, so if you have the correct right armor, you can bomb them out and progress up top.
I don't remember many bosses getting the full fade to white music stops exploding out.
It only happens... Honestly, I think it only happens in X3. But it happens with all the mini-bosses in X3. Hell Crusher. Jesus, I always forget the names of the mini-bosses in this one. I want to say it's Hell Crusher. Let me see if I can find it in my handy-dandy notebook while I climb this boring-ass tower.
I love the cactus tanks.
Yeah, Hell Crusher. I just fought Puerto Rico. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And then there's one more that should
also
be coming up.
Really good background.
I love this one. Yeah. That one's super cool. And you could also probably assume that leads into Volt Catfish's stage, since he's in a hydroelectric plant as far as I'm aware. But yeah, there's the 3 mini-bosses in this one. And that was one of them. I think the other ones should actually be coming up pretty soon in this...
Soonish, yeah.
Soonish. But yeah, I thought that was really... Or no, there is technically one other. So there's 4. But yeah, so he's got a really nice exploitable weakness weapon pattern, but it still involves participation, which is nice, as opposed to the other sort of ice-related stun-locky ones. It's kind of easy to actually mess this up if you just time it a little bit too late. He can accidentally land on top of you, or land on one of the frost shield shots. That. His hitbox is really wide. Or he could land on top of it before his braced vulnerability is gone and kind of mess with the pattern.
So, assuming you aren't just bullying the fuck out of him, can he actually go full T-1000?
Yeah, actually he can. So he'll do the dissolve thing and melt into the floor. That's his desperation phase. Every boss in this game has some kind of major desperation move or transformation. It's Seahorse, Rhino, Beetle, and Tiger that have an invincibility phase, and then the other 4 have some kind of super attack that they use on you instead. And I think the super attacks might give them a certain level of grace and vulnerability, but I think they're still weak to their weakness weapon in that phase. As far as I'm aware, the other ones, when they're invincible, you can't damage them even with their weakness weapon, because it's just a straight up I am a tank right now.
A doubler.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder who it could be.
I know, right?
Oh, he looks so fat.
What I like about that, though, is it actually shows him incomplete, which is kind of implying that he's still getting work done. And then I guess that eye thing is supposed to be what he was in, which is like, it's totally not. So, yeah. So here's our 2 boss down expositionary point.
My god, Doppler's nose is massive.
Yeah.
Like, I thought in the last playthrough that it was, like, his cheek, but that...
It's mostly just a...
like, in that, it's a very angular thing, but fucking look in at that.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just like, when it's a smaller sprite as opposed to a detailed picture, it makes sense being that big. Because he's missing a lot of detail. Like, the inside of his coat's just, like, pants, and in this he's got, like, this whole cool chest rig going on, and wires going into his head that you just can't see.
Gee, I wonder who it could be!
It's mysterious, Maverick. You don't even understand. So yeah, Vile's back, and he actually gets some extra expositionary stuff in this one, as opposed to just like, I will crush you like a... Or no, Tin Can is Violin from X2. He knows he's not strong enough to beat my armored carrier. That whole bullshit. And we will be seeing a special right armor for Vile a little later on, which is pretty rad. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity, since you can just read this damn story text yourself if you want. This game continues the whole tradition of the weird boss subtitle thing. So far we've had Silver Snowman, Blizzard Buffalo, and, I'm not kidding, President of the Water Dragons, Toxic Seahorse.
Just killed the fucking president?
Apparently!
Holy shit.
President of the Water Dragons. This is like the first really cool cutscene in my opinion. I love this one. Music is really cool, and it's just like...
Still doesn't seem like he's a bad guy yet, though.
Well, you don't know what he's tearing up, though. He's around pipes and stuff.
He looks so happy. It's like, he's just having a good time.
Destroying a construction site, ruining jobs, possibly killing workers, you know.
Mining out a subway tunnel or a sewage system.
You know that?
You don't know that he's destroying shit.
Subterranean Barbarian Tunnel Rhino. Some of the others. But then there are, like, equally confusing ones, which, you know, we'll get to them as we go. But, I think this stage is the one that has the Guns N' Roses music in it. I want to say it's the intro to My Michelle.
I don't.
I know you don't, but, like, for everybody at home, which is amazing to me because the whole... And I'll cover it in more detail later, but the whole Guns N' Roses thing from X5, based on its storyline, the fact that there were already Guns N' Roses references in the X series, and the person that made that decision didn't know about them, is just like, holy shit, like, how is that even statistically possible? Because it's like not even it sounds close to, like, it is straight up the song. And I want to say it's the stage. We can't hear the audio right now, and I always mix them up, since, again, the music in these ones are a little bit more, or in this one, it's a little bit more stale than we've had so far.
Hey, Bit.
So yeah, we've got Bit from that whole expositionary thing that I almost wasn't even watching while talking. The bosses in this one are really, really cool, or the bonus bosses. So we already had the X-Hunters. You go in and beat them, and you get the 0 parts, which affects the ending. This one actually affects, like, the bosses that you fight outright. So, regardless of how or when or where you beat the X-Hunters in X2, they always show up in the same order with the same attacks and everything in the fortress stages. In this one, if you beat Bit or Bite, actually you have to beat both of them this way. If you beat Bit and Bite with their weakness weapons, which in this instance is Frost Shield, it's different. Each one of them has 2, but based on my order I always forget the other one because it's Frost Shield. If you beat him with Frost Shield, and then beat Bite with his, they die. Like, they don't escape, they actually straight up are removed from the game. And it affects their dialogue and everything. If you beat both of them, they don't combine into a specific fortress boss, and you get a completely different boss fight. And then the same thing happens with Vile a little bit later on, too.
He reminds me of, like, a combination of Ringman and Barrelman.
I like Bit a lot. I think he's really cool. They're both based on I know. So his art and his figure have a shield, like a big tower shield, and I think there's no notes on it. I want to say that they were going to use the shield, but then they just like couldn't figure out how to implement it or something. But yeah, the old armor snap together kits. I've got that one. should just like take a picture of my figure collection. We'll throw it in as a thank you for watching thing or some shit. I've got the bit one, and the shield's huge. Like, it's almost as big as he is.
I noticed that, like, the rooms where you fight the counter hunters or whatever the hell you want to call them in this game aren't hidden this time around. They're, like, on the main.
Yeah, and it can really screw you over. I don't think, like, if you lose to them, I'm pretty sure you'll keep encountering them in that one stage. But you do kind of have to be careful about how you fight them and when. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's just to, like, kind of like, alright, you're at this phase of the game, you gotta overcome this or deal with it. So this is Hellcrusher. I really like his upper half, I really don't like his lower half, and this is a really fucking boring mini-boss fight.
He has, like, no sound effects at all.
He has no sound effects, he has very little animation, he has a different attack that if you go all the way up into the corner, he'll, like, use one of his spike hands to, like, lift himself up and kind of go up and down and do stuff, but it's just like, this is the easier way to fight him. And it's just an instance of, like, I just want to get this over with.
It really feels like, it's like, shit, we don't have any time left. We need something here. Fuck it, here you go. We have no time for sound effects or animation, just...
And it's great, because, like, he doesn't even have a creative name compared to the other ones, as, like, in comparison to... Where was it? Like, Puerto Rica for the squid. And it's just like, this is bad. Hellcrusher. Nailed it. It's like, yeah, okay. And that's not to say that there aren't other ones that aren't, you know, a little bit silly naming.
So, I saw the rock balls here, and there were, like, ice balls in...
Yep. They've got different names. They're all based on Bol d'Ivoire, which is the deer ball thing in X1 that come out of the Bee-Bladers in Stage 1. But yeah, we've got Ice d'Ivoire, and Iwan d'Ivoire is the stone one. Right? But I thought it was neat. And if you look at their art, like, they are straight up the same thing, but you just kind of stripped down to, like, float around and kind of create their own shield, which I think is really neat. I like that there are actually, like, enemy production lines and stuff like that. And it's always been like that, like, you know, the Mets and other, like, the batons and everything in the classic series, and it's nice to see that carry over into a mechanically beefier series.
It seems like the boss rooms in this game are just reusing backgrounds from earlier in the stage.
There, I think, are very certain exceptions detail-wise, but for the most part you are correct. I mean, I don't really have a problem with that, especially if it's just like, I'm in a cavern.
But, like, in the last two games, like, the bosses all had, like, a unique background.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like I said, a lot of this is like, you can tell that they spent a lot of time on the supplementary extra systems and how the game works mechanically, and it works, like, unbelievably superb. Like, it's a really satisfying game to run through, but then the levels are kind of like, it's whatever. But yeah, so, he's a pain in the ass. You want to dash over him. He's weak to acid burst. It won't go through his drills, and sometimes he will stop midway through, so you need to time your jumps to get over him without him just, like, hovering in the middle of the room and constantly bullying you, which is a pain in the ass. I don't like fighting him that much. There's your commentary on that boss, because we were talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
4 minutes. Fuck. Tornado Fang is really neat. I like how it works, and it's really useful. It's like Spin Wheel, okay. Next time you'll see it. Good job.